Alrighty, the subject I want to talk about today is how we deal with injuries. And the reason I bring it up is because I recently got some lower back pain, which sucks. It is actually one of the few things I have had problems with in the past, but now it's been probably like one and a half, 2 years since I had it last time. And one major reason to why I get it is from one arm handstand when I do it without proper warm-up, and since I have a light arch with my lower or with my legs, they are pointing over, so I'm not in a completely straight line. I put that extra tension on my lower back, and that has created pain in the past. Now I think this, like my one arm handstand training, has contributed to it a little bit, but one thing that really fucked me up was 2 days ago. I did a 5-hour-long shooting in the gym, just recording tons of exercises for front lever, and like it's not sustainable to record for that long, constantly doing exercises. Even if the intensity is way lower than usual, it's still a lot, and I don't think about stuff as much as I would in my normal training. I'm like, it's just exercises. But it hit me hard, and then later that same day I just started to feel the lower back. So yesterday I got way more steps than usual, and I did a super low intensity workout. I didn't even record it. It was like I was just experimenting, and I wasn't feeling that good, so just doing some light stuff. But I want to teach you guys some things that has helped me and that I will incorporate now, especially. Reduce intensity is going to be the #1 thing, and don't go to failure in things, so have those two in mind. This also means that we can incorporate higher reps. If we reduce the intensity to the degree where we can do more repetitions but still have a few ones in reserve, this way we can increase our heart rate and train more towards the hypertrophy, but of course with really low intensity, so we're not putting that much strain on the body. Like, we shouldn't feel pain when we're doing these exercises, especially when you're recently starting to feel the pain. But increasing the heart rate, this is like the key thing here. So if we have good blood flow, this is where we will recover the most. So definitely don't keep doing the normal schedule where you're pushing your body that hard. Rather increase the heart rate and lower the intensity. And then this is during the period where you're having the pain. This is where I will incorporate today. For example, we will have a front lever session, and I will just do way lighter training, but a bit more reps, to be honest, than usual. So that's for now. Then as I'm gonna get stronger, or the pain is gonna start to fade away a bit, I still know that my lower back is sort of a weak spot. So after that, when the pain is not there, I can start training the muscles around the pain. So for example, now my lower back, I can specifically train more lower back to build more strength and minimize the chance of it happening again. And then also looking back at what was the key things that caused me to get this pain in the first place. And for me now, the overtraining with the recording is one thing that necessarily I can make better choices, let's just call it like that. But the other thing is for my one-arm training, like, I gotta step up my game a little bit when it comes to the form, and focus more on my hip positioning and not having that arch with my legs. I know that for a fact it's causing a lot of strain on my lower back. So that's something I will incorporate after, when the pain is starting to fade away. It's not something I would do now, like enter a handstand and be like, oh, as long as the form is good. Most likely it's still gonna feel like shit. So that is gonna be the plan. So if you ever have pain, start by just getting good blood flow, preferably in the areas around where you have the pain. And when it comes to pain as well, the more experience you get, the more you're gonna know about your body, like which type of pain it is. If it's just that you're fatigued, then it's not really pain in that sense. Then of course getting good blood flow is still gonna help you sort of recover faster as well. But I mean pain in a more bad way. That is not just that your muscles are fatigued, it's something else. And in that sense, start with this type of training and then see how it plays out. It should get better, and if it doesn't do it, then check it out. It's always a good thing. Like if it's in an area where you don't have control, like where your normal training isn't affecting it, then just check it out with someone with a higher professionality regarding that subject. So a doctor or whatever it may be that you have access to, and then they will get you the more specific help. But most of the time, just reducing intensity, changing your training is gonna help you a lot in the beginning. And that's where we can start. It's really free. It also allows you to still keep up your training, not just get this instant cut. That's one of the worst things you can do, is just to stop your training completely and just completely rest, because it puts the body in a bad state where you're not getting any movement, and that's not good. So you want to be active but with low intensity. And that's what I'm gonna do today. Front lever session, just way easier progressions. I'm gonna see how much I can activate my core, to be honest. I might not be able to do full front lever stuff. I might keep it to just tuck or maximum like advanced tuck things, and at that point engaging the core and the lower back way less. But we'll see what we figure out. It's gonna be a bit trial and error. Then for the normal pull-ups and stuff in the end we can still do, but it's more about the holds in the beginning that I do really need to change. So I will see you guys in the gym for some experiment. Before I even start with that sort of active stretching, I'll probably go around like 10 minutes on just the band. Get the blood flow. Walking in general really good for recovery, and since it's the lower back as well, I do like walking in the sense that we're activating a lot of the body, not necessarily the upper body, but that we're gonna do later on either way. But getting good blood flow down here as well is gonna be great. All right, I just finished a 10-minute walk and already like it feels way better, because trust me, like just getting the blood flow, the heat up, it helps so damn much. So even if you don't almost train, just getting sort of light cardio, not necessarily running, but some walking or cycling or something. I think swimming as well would actually be pretty damn beneficial for just the recovery purpose. But now I'm done with that one. Feels much better. I'm still gonna do like active stretching and just activate the whole body, basically warm up the wrist a bit more as well, and then we're moving on to some light progressions of front lever. Not too bad. Feels alright. I do feel like a few seconds from time to time I do get some pain from the lower back, but not bad at all. So I think let's do 3 sets here and then we can move on to something else, because it's good training and then also not necessarily too bad for my lower back, which is the main thing. Feels really good. I also want to say, like, this morning I couldn't touch the ground. Like, not just because it's morning, usually a bit stiff there, but because I felt the pain. So if I were to be here, it would be just too painful. But just by getting warmed up, way better. I do feel it, but it's not like it doesn't feel like someone stabbed me with a knife in the back, which it was before. So I have the mobility everywhere. Have it in mind, if you have pain, warm up, and usually the day at least becomes a bit better than just sitting there and crying about pain, because that sucks. Let's do one last set and see if I can open up a bit more towards that band stack without having too much pain. took me a little while to realize that my cap wasn't on. I just kept going. So most likely the previous ones, you're just gonna be able to see me do the reps. But what I said in the beginning was that my mobility and flexibility now has improved a lot. And then the other thing is that the hypertrophy training, or this type, like I get more fatigue because I'm not used to it. So now when I increase the reps, I need to take some extra rest just to get fully recovered. But it feels really good. And for the pull-ups, it's actually the same weight that we're actually pulling as in full front lever. The only difference here is the leverage as well. So of course it's way easier to hold. But for our arms, we're pulling the same amount. So I do get fatigue in the arms. I do feel the lats as well being activated. So to be honest, that might be something I can even add in my future training, because it just felt really good with the targeting. But let's move on to another exercise. Next thing I want to do is advanced tuck, front lever touch. Long word to say. But that's the one. And here, it might also be that I hold until I can't get a good touch. I do want to have a few seconds in reserve at least. But of course the hold is going to be longer than usual, since it's a easier progression. Whew. Still heavy though. It's really heavy. Just as for the pull-ups, it's the same weight I need to hold up. It's just that a leverage arm is different. So it's easier to hold, but to some degree it's the same weight. Pretty much just gonna do the same thing. Let's see if I can focus a bit more on retraction now. It's nuts. It's crazy heavy. Let's do one more. Feels good in back though, which is the main thing. Let's do last set. I did get myself like 2 more extra minutes of rest, so a total of 4.5 minutes roughly, and should do me pretty well. So let's see if this last hold can be the best one. It's also a big difference between like advanced tuck and advanced tuck. Like you can do it in many ways. So the latest one I did, the second set, I did have my feet a bit further out, whereas the other one was more of a tuck, even if I did open up the sort of core a bit more. So it's a difference, and of course the further out your center of mass is, the heavier it's gonna be. I'm gonna try to open it up a bit more this time, since I'm not feeling any pain, and therefore I can push it at least a bit more than I thought. Not too bad, not too bad. What I really enjoy about training specific muscle training exercises at the end of a session is that they are so specific. So for example, the arm raises that I'm training for the retraction part, and also the chin-ups, they don't necessarily rely on my lower back, which means that I can literally just continue with them either way. And it's also something I want to add on to the topic of injuries, is that even if you have an injury, there's a lot of things you can train that is still going to contribute to or get you further ahead on your journey. I had back in the days, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I had extremely hard time training for the planche. I had some pain in my shoulders. I did some overtraining in the beginning. I was a bit too greedy on it. But at that point, I just trained way more front lever instead. And damn, I'm just gonna tell you this, I got so much progress in front lever, like it was crazy. I got my one arm front lever at a super early stage. Like I look back at Beast of the Bars 2019, the competition, I was throwing one arm front lever in competition with only a few years, like 2 or 3 years of training at that point, which was crazy. But that was because that was what I was targeting, and I was putting planche to the side because I couldn't train it as much. So what I really want to say is that you can still progress in your calisthenics journey and just change your target for a little while until your injury becomes better, and at that point you can start maybe bump up even more training on that part, or come back to about sort of a 50-50 split between whatever you do. So now I did get that set as well. Let's move on. 3 sets with retraction. This is literally the same as usual, which is nice. I would say it every time. It's so crazy how hard it is. It's like one of these exercises you just hold the dumbbell and you just don't feel which muscles are activated. Like the first reps you can focus on retraction, straight arm strength, like you feel the triceps, but then in the holds, it's like you just don't know what you're holding with. It's just heavy. But as long as it gives results, we're good. But I will continue for a while with this exercise and then add a bit more Victorian holds as well. It's one of the main reasons I'm doing this one, not just doing like sort of elevated strikes or something like that. Would be more targeting towards just retraction, but this one is great for the Victorian as well, which is one of the reasons I'm training it. Yep, definitely done here. I also feel like we have targeted the back crazy a lot today. So I'm feeling a bit sore, and therefore I think it either way was time for chin-ups. But I'm gonna do the chin-ups, it isolates the biceps a bit more, and I haven't trained them too much now, or they haven't been used. So I think the pull-ups or the chin-ups can still be pretty good. Of course, it involves some back as well, but we can use our biceps a bit more than just purely the pull-ups. And see if we can do the 50 for the chin-ups as well. Believe it or not, the chin-up, even though I didn't train it that much, I am stronger in chin-up 1 rep max than in pull-ups, even if I've been training pull-ups for such a long time. I don't know how it works, but it's apparently something that's pretty common as well. I talked with a few people at the competition when I was competing, and they told me like, try the chin-up grip. Tried it, I got way higher weight. So I think for the chin-ups I should be able to do 50, pretty same strength as for the pull-ups right now, even though I don't know with the stamina. I feel like the back, there's more muscles involved, so I can do more pull-ups, whereas the chin-up, it feels like a few reps and my biceps will be pretty fatigued. But let's give it a try. If we can do about like 6-7 as for the pull-ups with 50 kg, it's solid. It's really solid. Not too bad. It actually feels really good. Only when I enter the position I gotta be careful. I do feel like when the weight is creating a swing, it feels a bit in the lower back. But besides of that, almost purely biceps, a little bit of back, but it just feels like my biceps are really fresh. And 6 ones want to be pretty easy. If I were to add some rest in between, I'd probably bump it up to 7, but that's gonna be for another session. Let's see if we can make 6 reps for all 3 sets. Before we wrap this up, I just want to give you guys some updates on things that's happening in the near future. So next week I will go for 1 week down to Germany, and I'm actually gonna be there filming with Grenation. They are launching a lot of crazy stuff. That's gonna be both clothing but also some other things that I don't know if I'm allowed to tell. So that's gonna be really sick. And I will be there for 1 week, then directly go from Germany to Spain and meet up with Molly and Daniel. They have lived there for like 1 month almost now, I think. And they're gonna live there for like 2 more months or something. So I will meet up with them, gonna film a lot of content down there as well, so pretty productive. And also a different type of environment. So another type of YouTube video from there. And most likely will continue with some vlogs, because I will of course continue with my normal training and film a lot of that. But there's gonna be some other type of content as well, both from Germany. It's gonna be a big meetup. Hopefully get some footage from there. We're gonna meet some other big athletes. Bach is one of them, so that's gonna be pretty sick. And then in Spain as well, also just a different vibe, a bit more summer. Now it's literally the winter arc, which is pretty nice, but to see some sun, get some vitamin D, it's never wrong. So that's for the upcoming stuff. Then now also for the free community or the free calisthenics masterclass, I have recently filmed. It was pretty much why I got injured, but I just recorded all the exercises for the front lever program. So it's still a lot of editing and stuff like that. I also done most of the sort of informative videos behind it, but that one is going to be launched in the near future as well. So if you haven't joined, it's 100% free to join the masterclass. So join in the link up here, and also I will have the link in the description if you weren't able to find it. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Choo-choo!